Okay, so just about a week before Christmas here, and I got some last minute shopping to do. I don't mind the buying so much. It's nice to give people presents, and it's nice when they enjoy the present to get a positive reaction from them or a big surprise reaction. So buying I don't mind, and even the spending the money part, it's like, well, if you can't splurge once in a while, why do you break your ass every day, So it's all right. I don't mind that. But wrapping, I hate wrapping. Oh, do I hate wrapping. Last night I happened to see a very, very nice survival episode on Animal Planet where this married couple with a Chevy pickup truck and a 5-month-old baby, they're going through parts of Nevada, which northern Nevada and Wyoming and Montana are very desolate. And being from the eastern United States, you tend not to think about that. But there's parts of those mountain states where you can walk for a long time and not find anything. And the road got snowed in, so they couldn't drive any further or they would have gotten stuck. So they sat in their truck hoping that the road would get plowed or that they could get some assistance or the weather would get better, and it didn't. When they were out of food after a few days, they decided to walk. Figured, after looking at a map, they figured by about a 12-hour walk they could reach a civilization town or a highway at least. Well, they got that far. They wrapped the baby up nicely. They wrapped themselves up nicely, and as best as they could with what they had, anyhow. And no, nothing. They got to the top of the hill and nothing. So the baby's okay. They're all getting fatigued. They're all hungry. They're all tired. So they stopped so they decided to go back to the truck. So they stopped for the night at a cave, and they decide that maybe it's better if the husband heads on and the mother nurtures the baby as best as she can. So the man goes back and he finds his truck, which would be hard to find because once it's been snowed on and blowed over, you don't find your footprints either. So he's kind of blindly hoping to cover his roots. Marked the cave with a striped sweatshirt and gets in his truck, and now of course he thinks maybe it'll start up and he'll warm up for a few minutes. Well, the battery's dead. Been a couple days, been very cold, so now it won't start, but he does rest in the cab for a few hours and proceed onward. Then at this point he sees a sign that says, okay, looks like we'll get to a civilization. It says a township, and it's 51 miles when he clears the snow off the sign. And your heart would sink. He hasn't eaten in 5 days, maybe longer, maybe it's longer than that now. Hasn't really slept. If he falls asleep now, he'll collapse, and then his wife and his child will have no chance of survival. So his motivation is only that if he doesn't make it, they won't have a chance. And he's starting to hallucinate. He thinks he hears his wife telling Jim, go on. So his first thought is, well, maybe she died, but the baby's still alive, and that's her spirit trying to motivate him. Or maybe he's just hallucinating altogether. He does know that she couldn't have followed him and gotten within a few feet of him. So finally, after he doesn't really know how long he's been walking and how far he's gone, at this point, he thinks he sees the pickup truck, and he waves, and he waves, and he waves, and the truck stops, backs up, and picks him up. And the man in the truck takes him to his home, and his wife gives Jim something to eat, something to drink, and a place to get clean, and try to warm up. Meanwhile, he calls his business associate, and the two of them, they know the area pretty well, and takes them a while, but they find the marked sweatshirt and rescue Jenny and the 5-month-old boy, Clayton. Jenny and Jim both had to have all of their toes amputated, but their son was okay. He was frostbitten, but okay. And it's just one of those things. In the East Coast, to think about, I've been all around the East. As far as I can mention, I don't know of any place where you would walk 12 hours in one direction and not at least find a highway or a town. So something like that, a guy like me doesn't really think about. But it really is possible, and it becomes quite real for some people, and by the grace of God, they survived. And you just wonder how something like that even happens. And at a time like that, I think when you're going through that, as they did, part of you wonders, if you live through that, how bad could hell really be? Just a thought.